basically I'll say designer things. Like a lot of people don't value designer paintings and all, so not into the collectible market, I'll say. So I thought like the digital collectible market might not be very big in India, and outside India, I didn't see that I have any much advantage. So that's why I left that. Then started exploring cricket NFTs because of NBA Top Shots. It was a huge stage. Started exploring cricket NFTs, and then I explored social tokens for a couple of months. These are just exploratory things. I didn't join and do any job at that time, so I was just exploring that, went deep into it. And then I thought, okay, first I need to work somewhere to get like some deep knowledge, work with people who are already in this industry from a long time. So came across the router protocol. uh, in router protocol, our CEO has been in this industry from 2016-17. He had experience in finance before that. And yeah, that has been my journey so far. And in the router protocol, I started. So router protocol has a sister project also called Define. It's a decentralized exchange. So when I joined, Define was going through IDO. So looked at the marketing of that end to end. We did a IDO on Polka Starter. So I have seen like the token going to 8,000% to coming down. So I have seen the whole cycle. And let me come back to the router protocols. In router protocol, I majorly look after marketing, partnership, product research sort of thing. And router protocol is basically a cross-chain communication bridge. And our thesis behind building that is, we know that it's not going to be a one chain ecosystem, it's going to be a multi-chain ecosystem. So how you make sure that uh, uh, how you make sure that from a user point of view, it should not matter on which chain they are on. They should be able to communicate among chains smoothly, easily. So it started with one of the biggest use case, obviously the transfer of assets. And there are a lot of bridges who are doing that. So we started with transfer of assets. After that, we realized, okay, we need to build a communication layer. Smart contracts should be able to talk to each other. And whenever an user open the apps, to user, it should they should not be able to identify, okay, they have funds on Polygon, but when they want to do, let's say, yield farming on Avalanche, they have to go through multiple hooks. It should be seamless. So that's the thought process behind it. So on the router protocol side, we have built like a, a router crosstalk library. Just give me a second.
Sure thing. Meanwhile, folks, if you have any questions, feel free to use Q&A tab. We'll try to answer all the questions as the seminar goes along. So feel free to ask any of the questions you have here itself. Also, if you haven't registered for the Build for Web3 Hackathon, make sure you do. The link would be updated here in a while. And if you want to know more about the hackathon and be a contributor as well, I'll also share the Discord link here, and um, you can hop onto the Discord and have a conversation on the hackathon as well as about the Web3 space as well. Over to you, Lakshika.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, so that's the gist of building router protocol. So the simple way we explain it to people is like there are two cities, but how a user can go, or how as a traveler, how can we go from one city to another city? We either use bridges, or like take some mode of transportation. So router protocol is basically building that mode of transportation between the chains. And between the chains. So at router protocol, using our cross-chain infra, there is one bridge that is Voyager that we have built, where you can basically swap any assets from one chain to another chain. So let's say if you have A token on Polygon, but you want to buy B token on Avalanche, it's not like you have to first send funds from one chain to another chain. You can simply just you can simply just make a swap. So so yeah, so that's about, so that basically that you can do. A lot of people are using that, and a lot of people are finding it very interesting because it solves a lot of users problem. And the second thing that we have built is like a widget. So basically whatever the app we have built, we have converted that into a widget. That widget you can install basically on your website. So let's say if you are building a gaming app and you are on Binance, but you want to attract users of Polygon. So what you can do is you can install our widget on your website. So if a user don't have funds, let's say on the Binance chain, they don't have to leave your website, because when people leave your website, it becomes very difficult to basically attract them again. So once users have leave the website, so we don't want users to leave the website. That's why we have a widget installed. And using that widget, basically you can people can easily transfer funds from Polygon to Binance. That's the one use case. Second is we have built the APIs also for that. So if someone wants to build their own cross chain bridge, we provides the API also for that, JS SDK also for that. On top of that, we have built a Crosstalk library, where like basically you need to deploy smart contracts on two chains. So and the smart contract on one chain can talk to the smart contract on another chain. So that so the one of the biggest applications that I am seeing in that case is cross chain NFTs. So let's say a user fund is on Polygon, but they want to buy the NFT on the Ethereum chain. They just need, once the router crosstalk is integrated at the back end, it's not like they have to first transfer the funds and then they need to buy. They just simply need, first they need to transfer the funds, then they have to make sure that the on the Ethereum chain they have ETH token also, because they need the ETH tokens to pay the gas fees. But with router crosstalk library, there is no hassle. If you have funds, let's say on Polygon, you just can click directly buy. Router crosstalk library at the backend will first give the instruction that the funds has been secured, and then they will send the instruction, okay, mint this NFT, and then the NFT will get minted and it will get deposited to the user's account. So that's how we are making life easier. Cross chain NFT, we are seeing a lot of use case. A lot of games are coming to us asking that they want to build cross chain NFTs. So yeah, that's at the high level. If you can go to Router Protocol's website, let me just ping the Router Protocol's website here. And here you can click on the documentation is super easy. We have already worked with like around 50 people who have integrated our widget, APIs, router, crosstalk library. So this documentation has actually gone through a multiple iterations, and now it's like it contains everything now. So yeah, do go through it. And in the hackathon, what I want is like just just these are the thing, right? This is the product we have built, this is the infrastructure layer we have built. What we want developers to now come up with like different type of applications that can be built using this. It could be like cross chain stable coin, it could be let's say cross chain yield farming, it could be cross chain prediction market, or like some anything using these cross chain infra. What are the different type of applications developers can come up with? So that is what I am expecting at high level in the hackathon. And our thinking might be limited, but different people can think of, okay, 100 other multiple use cases. So that's what I'm expecting, that there are some use cases which we have not thought through, and the developers can come up with that. So yeah, I would like to take a pause here before I pass the stage to Shivam, who is from the developer side, and he can probably walk you through guys through some documentation. But on the attendee side, if you guys have any question on the business side, tech side, Shivam and I are here to answer. Shivam is the yeah. Shivam, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey guys. Hello, I'm Shivam. And am I audible? First of all, yeah.
Yeah, you are.
So, hello guys. I'm from the dev team of Router Protocol, and basically, I'm currently working on Router Crosstalk Library itself. So, okay. So, let me first introduce you to the Crosstalk Library. So, what it does is, all right. So, what you can do with Crosstalk Library is that you can pass on messages from one chain to another. So if you want to, you can create a contract, you can deploy it on multiple chains, you can link them together. And what you can do then is you can pass a message from this chain A to chain B. So maybe you want to set a greeting from chain A to chain B. You want to call the function on the Polygon chain, but you want the function to be executed on maybe chain BSC or Ethereum or any other. So currently we have around 11 chains integrated, if I'm correct, and you can deploy it on all these chains, and you can, converse within these chains. You can transact within these chains. So that is currently what router crosstalk is doing. So I can share an example. So I'll share the screen. Okay, I think I'm not allowed to share.
Uh, yeah, Shivam, just 1 second. Tanmay, in the meantime, can give you the screen sharing access. Uh,
Sure.
on the attendee side, if you guys have any question like which we can clear up before we go deep into one of the contracts, do you guys have any question, then please post it on the chat and we can take that up. Tanmay, can attendees post the questions?
Yeah, they can.
Okay, then I don't think they have question. Yeah, Shivam, then you can go ahead.
All right. So, all right, I'll share the screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, sure.
All right, great. So here we have the documentation for various products that we have. So first of all, here you can see the router JS SDK. All right. So, so what the JS SDK does is we have the Voyager app. So you can transact on the Voyager app using your backend itself through the JS SDK. That is the main functionality of JS SDK. Then there are, we have a widget which Lakshika, I think, walked you through. And then we have the Crosstalk library. So it is an npm package, and you can install it using the command npm command. And we also have some sample contracts here, like NFT contracts. You can create ERC721 or ERC1156 contracts, ERC20 contracts. So we have some sample contracts here. I'll walk you through the greeter sample contract. I think it will be very easy. So let me walk you through the greeter contract. All right. So can you see the greeter contract here?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So okay, I'll tell you how easy it is to integrate router crosstalk into your contract. So you just need to import this contract here. As you can see, you have to inherit this contract, and you have to pass the generic handler address into this contract, which we have given in the documentation itself for all the chains that we have deployed on. All right. Then we have some admin functions which need to be added to your contracts, like this approve fees function. Then there is this set linker function, and then this set fees token function. So set linker function, what is the linker address? So the linker is the address that has the access to map your contracts on different chains. So maybe you have deployed your contracts on chain A, B, and C. So you want to map your contracts on chain A to chain B and C, on chain B to A and C, and like that to all other chains. All right. So the linker address, whatever address you pass in the linker, will have access to map these contracts. All right. No other wallet will be able to map these contracts. All right. Then there is a set fees token. So we have some defined fee token that we accept for, transacting cross chain. Once you do a cross chain transaction from your contract, we'll charge some minimal fee on your contract. So you have to provide those fee tokens to your contract itself. So that there is a minimal fees, and you can set the fees token here. We have some defined set of fee tokens which you can find in the documentation here. I think we have it. Token supported fee tokens for cross. So here you can see all the fee tokens that we support for different things. All right. Then you have to provide some fee tokens to your contract also, and then you have to approve the fees. So what is it doing is your contract will be approving a generic handler for a specific amount of fee tokens to be spent, because our generic handler will be charging your contract for cross-chain transactions. All right. So you need to approve this. So once you add these three functions, the approve fees, set linker, and set fees token function, you have to create a cross-chain function. So there will be a function which will, which will be creating a cross-chain communication request. So here we have a set greeting cross-chain. What we are passing as parameters is first is the chain ID. So this is the destination chain ID, and this chain ID is not the actual chain ID of destination chain, but the router defined chain ID of that chain. So you can find all the chain ID in the supported chain section, and the router internal chain ID here along with that. All right. So this is the chain ID you are going to pass, the router internal chain ID. So if you are going from Polygon to Phantom, maybe, so Phantom's chain ID is 4 here. So you're passing 4 here. All right. The second is the greeting. So whatever greeting you might want to set on the destination chain, you will pass here. Then there is a cross-chain gas limit and gas price. So here we provide the flexibility to the developer to choose what amount of gas limit as well as gas price you are willing to pay for transactions on the destination chain. So maybe you think that this amount of gas limit and this amount of gas price is enough for a transaction on the destination chain. So you will be passing that gas limit and gas price here. And if that is not enough, then we'll not be able to execute the transaction and you might want to replay it. So we also have a replay function where you can increase the gas limit and gas, and then your transaction will be re-executed on the destination chain. All right. So I'll walk you through what is happening here. So here we are encoding the data that you sent to be passed on the set greeting function, the greeting that you sent. Also, whatever function we might want to be called on the destination chain will pass the selector here. So we have a set greeting function over here. This is the function I would want to be called on the destination chain. So the selector of this function I'll pass here. All right. Then you just need to create the cross-chain communication request using the router send function, passing all the parameters as listed here, and the transaction is done. The source transaction is done. We'll charge a small fee, and that fee will be used to transact on the destination. So all the work is complete here. We also have a replay greeting function that I told you about. So here you will, pass the hash, but we have created a nonce to hash so that will not require to, save hashes. So we are mapping nonces to hashes, and we are just passing the nonce which we want to replay, and it will replay the transaction using the higher gas limit as well as the gas price you pass here. So you can see it's only around 90 lines of code, and you can easily integrate in this way the router crosstalk library, and it is a very seamless integration. Here also in the router sync handler function, you will this will be called on the destination chain. So all these things were happening on the source chain, the ones I told you about here. Now this function will be called on the destination chain. So what we are doing here is we are just decoding the data that we received, and we are calling the function for which selector we had passed here in the router send function. So this is it. There is nothing else you need to know about integrating crosstalk with your contract. So you want to deploy this contract on multiple chains. You just need to map this contract. We have some tasks for deployment and mapping here also. So here in the deploy task, all the things are handled automatically. You just need to run this task, and this will deploy the contract. This will set the linker address. This will set the fees token address. This will approve the fees also. Then you just need to map the contracts using this task we have here. What this will do mainly is this will, tell your contract that this is my counterpart on chain B. So here they'll know that this is the address that is deployed on chain B, and this is my counterpart, and I have to call this contract. That's it. Once you do this, you are good to go, and you can, start transacting cross chain.
Shivam, there is a question in the chat.
Okay.
Do you guys work on minimum fees or preference is given to those who pay the higher fees?
Okay. So what happens is we have some fee tokens, and we charge a minimal fee on if you use route token, almost you get a 60-70% discount on the dollar value. On others, we charge mostly the fees consist of the amount that will be used on the destination chain to transact. So maybe if you are going from Polygon to Ethereum, you may incur a higher amount of fees. Otherwise, if you are going to Phantom, you will get a minimal fee there. But on route token, we are, charging a bare minimum fee. Maybe not even earning anything. So,
Yeah, just to add to that, and Shivam, please correct me if I'm wrong.
yeah.
So the fee that we charge to user is fixed. So let's say if I am doing the transaction or Shivam is doing the transaction, you can't basically, as a user, Shivam can't go and change that bridge fees. The bridge
Yes.
fees that we charge is constant. So it's not like anyone can give preference to Shivam because he is able to change the fees. The bridge fees is constant, and depending on, let's say, if like using our router Crosstalk infra, we have built the Voyager. There, the bridge fee is set by us. Right now, it's fixed. Soon we will be moving to BIPS model, and whosoever is basically, let's say, is using our API and building the cross chain bridge, they can set the fees. But it's not like a user can basically pay higher fees to make sure that their transaction pass first, at least not the bridge fees. But the gas fees, obviously, that how every other transaction work on the Polygon or Ethereum, like whatever gas fees, if you pay higher, obviously the whole blockchain transaction system is same, but our bridge does not anyways give preference on anything.
Correct. Lakshika, you are correct too. So what we are doing currently is we have some, base fee. So what this base fee is for? So before executing your transaction, we have some validators which will validate the transaction. So they are decentralized validators. Once they validate it, so for validating, they'll transact on the destination chain. So currently we have, I think, some validators. So that is the base fee that is charged. That is for that voting. So once we have voted on, so we have some quorum, and if we complete the quorum, we have voted on and we have completed the quorum, then the transaction will be executed. So the gas cross chain gas and gas price that you provide in the function, that will only be used for executing the transaction, and we have a base fee that will be used for that voting proposal. So that remains constant most of the time because of the chains gas price. But this you can alter the execution fee.
Divyansh, does that answer your question?
Yeah, he said yes.
Guys, anyone else have any question?
All right. Folks, if you have any questions, feel free to ask right now. Since we have the expert here, it will be answered right away. If you're nudging around the platform and you want, if you come up with any questions, here is the Discord link. You can join the Discord server, get yourself verified and ask questions there as well. Connect with any moderators if you have questions related to hackathon. Or if you have any doubts related to hackathon, feel free to connect with us there as well. Lakshika, Shivam, anything else from your side?
Sure. I'll tell about the sequencer also.
Yeah, just give a brief. Yeah.
All right. So currently what is happening is, we are using the Crosstalk library only to pass messages from one chain to another. We are not able to do ERC20 transaction. You can obviously deploy your own ERC20 contract, which is enabled cross-chain by using the Crosstalk library. But for the existing tokens like USDC or some other tokens, you are not able to integrate with Crosstalk library because they are already created, the contract is already deployed, and you cannot inherit the Crosstalk library there. So we have come up with a solution for this. So currently we have a Voyager app which allows cross-chain swaps, and we have a Crosstalk library which passes the messages from one chain to another. Currently we are working on the sequencer and it's almost ready. So what sequencer does is it allows you to do both these things inside your contract, and also you can sequence these things. So maybe you have a contract on Polygon, you have the same contract on BSC, and you want to move your funds from Polygon to BSC and take those funds on your BSC. So what you can do is you can create a function that's transfer funds and stake, and you can pass on the chain ID of BSC, and you can use a front end for a user to identify which tokens, what amount of tokens, and those things. And it will seamlessly transfer your funds and then stake. You can also alter the order if you want the function to be called first, and then you want to transfer your tokens to the other chain. So that you can also do using, we have a flag so that you can set as false or true if you want to change the order. So this is a brief introduction of sequencer, and I think this shall be ready in no time. I think we are just there. So yeah.
Awesome. Any more questions? If anyone has, feel free to ask. Again, same process, Q&A is open for all of you guys.
And guys, if you don't have any questions right now, just go through our documentation in detail. You will actually enjoy building cross-chain applications. I have seen that in my router team. The whole tech team enjoys building cross-chain applications. So from a developer point of view, I think you're going to enjoy that. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Twitter, or you can ask like Luma's team to put us in touch. And yeah, looking forward to interacting with you all during the hackathon.
Awesome. Also, guys, if you haven't registered for hackathon yet, this is the link for you guys. Make sure you register for it. Thank you so much for coming here, attending this webinar. We genuinely hope that you've gotten a knowledge and you start to build the cross-chain application on router as well. We're looking forward for your projects and would love to see more of them in the hackathon. With that being said, thank you, Lakshika. Thank you, Shivam, for sharing your knowledge with us. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. Thank you, Shivam. Thank you, Tanmay, for having us. Thank you a lot.
All right, folks. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
So same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.